Have you ever felt paralyzed about starting over in your 30s or 40s? I know what it's like to really crave change in your life, but feel really exhausted about it, and everyone else is ahead and you are behind. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sonia Dee. I help reserved and quiet women 35 plus rebuild the life of their dreams. The reason I'm really passionate about life transitions is because I recently made a major transition in my life. I moved myself over from Zimbabwe all the way to the Czech Republic, to Prague, because I had this deep urge to do something for me, to make a shift and a change and to live life according to my own terms. I came over, I left corporate, I let go of my coaching business, and I moved here to start all the way from the bottom. If you haven't already, go check out last week's video. I speak about that, starting from the bottom as an ESL teacher in Prague. And I decided to make a shift. I was not happy with the direction my life was taking. I was 37 years old and I felt lost. I felt unfulfilled, and I just knew something had to give. And honestly, I think I sat on the decision for quite a while. I knew there was discontent. There was an underlying discontent in my life, but it took me so long to do something about it. And that's what I want to get into today's video. I feel like there are those of us who know we're not fulfilled, we're not happy with certain aspects of our lives, but we're just not doing anything about it. Maybe you are just not happy with the way your health is going. Maybe you're not happy with your relationships, with your finances, with your career path, maybe even where you live, like me. And you know something has to shift, something has to change. You want to do something about it, but you're stuck. You're paralyzed and you don't know how to go about it. And I do feel one of the biggest things is what I'm going to talk about in this video. So in my very brief time on this planet Earth, I've come across women who want to make changes but never do, 35 plus. The first one is your energy is not where it used to be. Come on, let's be honest. You're not 20 years old anymore. You need more of a chilled life, more of a relaxed atmosphere, and starting over will require you to put in the work. So I think that tends to put you a bit on the defensive about doing something about changing your life, if I'm being honest. Not just physically, but emotionally, mentally. You understand that it's going to be a battle and you wonder if you have what it takes. The second reason is you're now comfortable. You know, you've worked to this point in life. You've managed to acquire certain things, certain relationships, certain physical assets that make your life comfortable, and it's really tough to think about letting those things go, starting again in whatever area of life. Maybe it's not even about that. Maybe physically, health-wise, you've gotten comfortable with eating a certain way, drinking a certain way, sleeping a certain way, and just the thought of shifting that is really uncomfortable. The truth is that comfort is seductive. Even if you're unhappy, the idea of letting go of the familiar, of the stable, it's painful. So you stay. Another reason is that the fear of failure hits different after 35. The social pressure is much deeper. You know, things like you should have it figured out by now are floating around you, or you are the person that these young ones are now going to, looking up to. So the idea of starting over and saying, listen, I think I messed up, I want to change things, just feels heavier for you. You fear looking like you've messed up, like you just made some wrong choices, when funny enough, all of us do. And there's this internalized shame and self-doubt that has built, and you just don't want to do the work of having to work through that, push through it, and into the life of your dreams. I know I definitely experienced that. Starting over also requires visible sacrifice, okay? And especially in my case, relocating my entire life, I had to sell my car. I had to move into a smaller apartment. I had to live with people for a while. You know, I had to take on a lower salary. I talk about this in my previous video from last week, so go check it out. You know, and you are having to let go of things that show your success, whether to yourself or to others, and that can feel quite shameful. And you can't help but constantly compare yourself to who you used to be once you make that leap and start transitioning to what it is you want. So that can also feel really, really difficult. I mean, let's be honest, guys. Most of the time, we're all putting on a facade. We're all masquerading as though we have this life thing figured out, as though we are at a level that we're supposed to be at, even if we're not. Just to save face, just to look like we belong, because that's our biggest need and desire in life, is to feel as though we belong. And we do this at the detriment of our own internal peace and joy and fulfillment. And so I feel like these are the reasons why you may feel stuck. You may feel like you cannot make that change. You cannot make that shift. And that's okay. I want to encourage you to sit in these, ask yourself, do these apply to me? Or is there something different that's really causing me to not want to make that change in my life, to make that shift? Because awareness is everything. If you're not aware of what you're dealing with, it's going to be hard for you to change it. And it's going to be hard for you to move forward. The first thing was the mental preparation before I actually took the leap. Like I said, it took me a while to actually make that shift. And I think it's because I was processing mentally what it would look like, what it could possibly mean. And so it helps to do that emotional mental work of what is possibly going to happen, if I choose to take this step. And talking to yourself honestly and grieving the life that you're leaving behind, because you've grown attached to it. You built this in sincerity, and it worked for you up till this point. It's not that what you had was bad, but it no longer works for you. So it's like losing a loved one. You're losing a version of yourself, and it's okay to grieve that. So that mental preparation is key. Once you've had that mental preparation, it's important to understand your vision. Where are you going? Why have you chosen to do this? Why have you chosen to make this shift in your life? What is it that you hope to achieve? Who do you hope to become? And why is this so important for you? Having a vision helps you tolerate the dips that you will experience as you're making the major transition. And for me, my why was me. My why was, listen, you've done life according to other people's rule books up to this point. Look how far it's gotten you. You're not fulfilled. You're not truly happy. You haven't really understood who you can be, all that is possible, your potential. So let's give it another go. Why not? You have nothing to lose. And so having that clear vision and even describing the feelings of why I wanted to do it and who I was going to be really pushed me through. Small acts of discomfort will build your resilience. So be intentional about practicing small things that are outside of your comfort zone pretty much every day, whether it's greeting people in public or complimenting someone in public, whether it is applying for a role outside of your usual comfort zone, whether it's choosing to wake up a little earlier every morning, whether it's starting to walk 5 minutes, 10 minutes every day, something that you didn't used to do, whether it's choosing to tell people in your life that you love them. Maybe that's something that you found really uncomfortable. Whatever it may be, just doing those micro doses of uncomfortable things will help you over time to realize it teaches your brain that, oh yeah, I can do uncomfortable things, I can do hard things, and soon enough those will allow you to take on bigger moments of discomfort when you are going through that transition, when you're actually practically making the changes. The number 4 tip I'll give you is that follow other people on the same journey as you. For example, if you're looking to relocate and completely move your life over at 35 plus, you can follow me. I share my journey with that. It helps you feel less alone on this journey. It helps you feel less crazy. I know it certainly helped me. It validated my experiences and it validated my choices, why I was doing this, and seeing other women making it over to the other side and succeeding showed me that this is possible for me. And women who looked like me, African women, Black women, who had relocated to this part of the world and were building a life that they loved. So don't underestimate the power of listening to someone else's story, of understanding and hearing their process, because it will assist you and help make yours that much gentler. And obviously, like I said, when you make that transition, you're letting go of a lot of luxuries and comforts that you've grown accustomed to and you believe you deserve at this stage. As you've made those sacrifices, start celebrating smaller luxuries, yeah? Whether it's going to get your nails done every other month, whether it's taking yourself out on a solo coffee date, whether it's just, I don't know, going to a museum or whatever it may be, just small things that feel a little bit luxurious and remind you that you are still you, even in the struggle, even in the big transition. You know, for me, it was that I would get my nails done every month, and I've also practiced buying myself flowers just to brighten up my space because I love flowers, or taking myself on solo dates, not expensive, but it reminds me that I'm still in there and I still deserve to be treated well and to experience goodness of life. And it just lets me know that there's more of that coming ahead. And that's it, guys. Those are the things I can think of that have been really helpful for me on my journey and allowing me to embrace the realities of starting over as an older woman who should have it all figured out by now. And you know, I want to implore you, if you're in your 30s, 40s, and you are making major transitions in your life, I want to let you know that I see you, because I see myself. And if I am here, if I'm feeling what I'm feeling, if I'm going through what I'm going through, I know there's at least one other person experiencing something similar. And yeah, I'm here for you, and I hope you found value in this content. I want you to know that you're not a failure. You know, you are just building a life that actually fits you, and that's fine. You know, this is not regression, it's just redirection, it's just a rebirth. And hopefully you can see it that way, and that can inspire you even on that journey, and as a result inspire other women who will choose to walk that journey. But yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in every week. I appreciate you. Thank you for staying up to this point. If you are starting over, whatever area of life it is, I would be so keen to hear about it. Please leave a comment below. If you'd rather chat to me privately, you can always DM me on Instagram. And yeah, let me know how it's going. Are you playing around with the idea of transitioning in a certain part of your life? What area of life is that? How are you feeling about it? What do you think is keeping you stuck? And yeah, I sincerely wish you everything of the best on this journey. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next week. Until then, remember, life is beautiful and you have time.